Alright guys, moving right along. So I got these all cut out. So you can see bolting this thing on is going to be very simple. You just go right underneath, you ain't got to reach in through the bumper. And then I got the brackets all tacked in place there. Let's throw this thing on the truck and start mapping out these sides. Alright guys, there's my cardboard mock-up. I still might do something more with the top to fill this gap in, and then obviously fill that in there, but I think I like that. And I'm going to cut this here out of 45. Some of this stuff I'm not going to be able to bend. I think I'll just, I might just bend these two here, and then this one here I'll just have to cut separately and weld in along with obviously the end cap. So let's get this transferred over to some steel and get cutting and bending. Moment of truth, guys. Let's see if this thing lines up. Holy crap, guys, this thing fits a lot better than I thought it would. So you can see it's a little bit low here. I got to bend that top down just a little bit, and these should be pretty close to lined up. That might just need a little bit of trimming. I got this at zero, pretty much 0 degrees, 0.1. So it looks like it's pitched up a little bit, so I might have to grind this area here just to bring that down to level. But honestly, I'm gonna see how it looks with both sides on if I do pitch it up, because there is the gap here, which is a lot smaller there than there. So it might actually look better if the whole thing's pitched up just a little bit. Got it fitting really good. And it's pitched up this way about 2 degrees, which when I stand back and look at it, I actually like it, because this gap, like I said, is bigger here than in the middle of the grill. So instead of having to fill this in with something, I actually kind of like the look of that angled up. And I got about 1/4 inch here. So let's get the other side cut, see if we can match this angle up. And if that's all good, then we can tack this thing together and cut these bottom and the sides. Alright guys, you can see there I beveled the edges of the plate, and then I also beveled this too, so that when we weld it, there's basically a valley for the weld to sit into, and then it's a lot easier and a lot stronger once you grind it all off flat and smooth, you still got weld in between the two joints. So those are ready to go on. We're going to use the magnetic little level there, get them set at equal, I think it was like 2 degrees or a little over 2 degrees up, which I really like that look actually. So we're going to match both sides at 2 degrees, and then we also have to pay attention to, you know, how far out it is from here. So we got to just lightly tack it, and then there might be some adjustments to make as we tack it in there and get it perfectly straight and aligned. So let's get to work. Coming together, guys. Got these sides tacked on. So next what I'm going to do is get basically the end cap, this piece here. Got to add an 1/8 to that side. So let's cut 2 of these. We'll tack those on. All right, we got the sides on, so I'm gonna call it a night right here. It's getting pretty late. It's now 7:30, so from what, 12:30 I believe this morning. So 7 hours just to get these 2 sides done, which that seems like a lot. Well, I guess I did do some of the mounts and stuff, but that seems like a long time just to get those. But I'm taking my time with it, making sure my cuts are in the right spot. All my lines line up with that top rail right here, and then just making sure the fit up is good and everything lines up. Everything is everything is lining up perfectly. It's straight and square and level. So I'm taking my time doing it right, because I've learned the hard way many times, if you're rushing a project, you end up redoing it. So that's why it's kind of taking a lot longer. And then also, you know, obviously the tools I have. So we'll get out here tomorrow morning and cut these bottom triangles, fill in this area here. I'll probably plate here, and then we really could pull the bumper off and start fully welding it, welding all the mounts and everything, and start finishing all these outer welds. There we go, guys. Got all these pieces tacked in place, so that's all covered up here. And then got a little end cap on the bottom there, or on the back. So looking good. I'm really liking the look of this. I think once we cut those angles off of the kind of close to the mount right down here, cut that at an angle there where that line is, I think that'll really tie it in. To me right now, that stands out with all the angles, and that just being square, that really stands out. So once we trim that, I think that'll flow together good. So I guess the next step, we can pull the bumper off, trim those pieces, and just start welding this thing together. Alright guys, we got the bumper off and fully tacked up to be. So just a little preventative deal just to keep this bumper nice and straight and square where it is right now, because it fits really good. Alright guys, I got the whole exterior of the bumper welded up, and I decided I'm going to beef up the mount. So I cut these out here. So these are just going to weld in right in there, and that'll help stiffen up the entire bumper, kind of help spread out the weight of the actual mount into the whole bumper. Since the mount is right off the bottom of the bumper, I kind of wanted the mount to run all the way up. So I decided, why not make it beefy? So I cut those out so we can tack these in place, and then we got to weld the inside of all these seams that we bent, and then we should be pretty much good to go. Alright guys, I got these other two mounts completely burned in, so definitely stiffened up the bumper a lot. So if you're gonna build one, I definitely put some mounts right there. So next thing I want to do is, I got my lights in, so I'm going to mount these. I already marked it all out. There it is on the truck, guys. So we still got to paint it, obviously. I did buy some Clevis mounts. I think I'm gonna mount right here, right on the front side of where that main bracket comes up. I'm gonna weld the Clevises on there, so it's nice and strong. I just haven't got them yet. I would make them myself, but I just don't have any really thick steel. I think they were like 1 inch thick. So waiting for those. We're gonna weld it on here. We got to drill some holes in for the license plate, but that is minor details. The next video, we'll get these welded in. We'll get this whole thing sanded. We're gonna do a coat of epoxy primer, and then I'm gonna Raptor line it black. So definitely stay tuned for the next